You're listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 36. On today's episode, we discuss This Week in Music and episode 6 of Girls Planet 999. So sit back and chill with friends. You're listening to The After Show with the SojuTalk Nation. Welcome to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, a chill discussion on This Week in the SojuTalk Nation. We're recording on Tuesday, September 14, 2021. I'm your host, Crispy, and joining me this week, all the way from Denmark, the Viking Lord himself and mod on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord, Jocabb. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Crispy. Thank you.
Of course. So I've been wanting to have you on one of the shows at some point, eventually. And some of the guest co-hosts that I usually have for this show, they became popular. They became influencers. They one of them is traveling Europe right now. The other one is in Canada working and being a student. Trying to save lives. But I did feel like this was a good spot for you because we had a couple artists that we both like to talk about this week, and it's really nice to have you. So I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So some quick announcements at the very top. This week is a little bit of a deep dive on Soju Sessions. So tomorrow's episode, I won't preview who it is, but it's someone you guys do know on the server. And then following that are two other mods on the server. So yeah, we've got a lot of Soju sessions coming up. So if you do want to know more about the people that you guys talk to on the server, chat, you see the text messages and you don't really get a voice or a sense of who they are, well, you're going to get to know 3 people very soon this week. So stay tuned for those shows. All right, let's jump into it. Jocabb. We got 4 songs this week in SojuTalk Music. We have Purple Kiss, Zombie, Hyuna,
yes.
X Dawn with Ping Pong, Lisa with LALISA, and ATEEZ with Deja Vu. Let's start at the top with Purple Kiss, Zombie, Dell's second favorite group, I would say. But I think because I've talked to Dell so much about Purple Kiss, I'm not gonna stand them yet, but I do simp one of the members quite heavily. Anyways,
yes.
What is your opinion about the song, the music video, and how RBW has kind of created this very pop version, youthful version of their signature R&B power vocal, Mamamoo sound?
That's a lot of long questions. First of all, I like it. It's funky in a way, and I dig the funk. What can I say? The pretty music video, pretty girls, what can I say? And I don't know, I still have a hard time recognizing them as their own group and not just as mini Mamamoo in a way. Like, my first listen through of the album, I couldn't help but sort of try to imagine what the songs would have been like if Mamamoo had released them. Because, like Warren likes to mention, RBW has a specific sound in a way. He doesn't like it. I don't mind it. And yeah, it kind of shows here as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there are some vocal cues that are very similar to Mamamoo's sound. I think their first song, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to. It starts with a P. Doug pronounced it on the main show. That one did feel like more of a flip as far as concept because they went darker. I think the comparison was very G-Idol at that point, and I did like that direction. This one is a very pop-friendly, fun, youthful fantasy concept.
I mean, fun, friendly, youthful, and then one of the girls poses with a stake and it's zombies and
like playful murder is how I imagined it, because
like Red Velvet Russian Roulette. Playful Lover.
Yeah, yeah. See, you know where I'm going. Also, I love that song, by the way, Russian Roulette. But they did a lot of stereotypical zombie tropes within the music video. I couldn't actually
Mm.
tell who was the zombies and who were the people. I know that they were eating brains, they were eating things. I don't know if they were people yet or zombies yet, but they did it all look really good.
Yeah.
And speaking of looking really good, Nagoan, shout out to Delmonic. Shout out to the person who has helped me focus in on this member. What did you think about her being the center, having great vocals, and kind of being the all-in-one leader, everything of this group so far?
Um, I mean, I like her, and I like her skills and talents, and I understand that RBW wants to show her off, but I feel like I'm scared that she might like just become bigger than the group, you know? So I hope they know what they're doing and they can find the balance. But yeah,
Yeah, I think she's a
so far good.
yeah, I think she's a good entry point because of being on Produce.
Mm,
But again, me, I'm probably more of a general audience listener to this song and this group. So unfortunately, I have not looked into the other members, and again, that is the concern, right? Where if you
mm,
only know one person, you'll probably stick with them. They haven't had a song yet that was able to highlight all of the elements of the group and the different members. So hopefully things turn out for them. Because they are headed in a nice direction. I mean, this is their second song and their second release. Closing
yeah.
out this song, what did you think about kind of the crew's focus on the different elements with the song, and just overall with zombies? How did that hit you?
Uh, it's weird. I don't know. Um, how do I say it? Like it's just like the okay, cut. Sorry. Um, the
What did you think about the
I
chorus where they just went zombie beep 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 beep? It's catchy. I can remember it off the
yeah,
top of my head, but
yeah,
a
exactly.
little
Yeah.
repetitive, a little weird, but kind of cool? Question mark.
I yeah, like it's repetitive, but at the same time, like they changed it up enough for it to not become boring for me. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't criticize it because after all, it is pop and being simple and easily recognizable is a trademark for pop. So
Yeah.
I don't mind it at all.
Well, moving on now to another song that is recognizable but not simple at all. We have Hyuna X Dawn with Ping Pong.
Yeah,
I have three bullet points. I'm just gonna shoot them off real quick. Drugs, so much drugs. It kind of knows what it
fair.
is, and it's loud.
Yeah.
What did you think about the song, and how did you feel about the? Well, let's start with you. How did you think about the song, and what did you feel after listening to it and watching the music video?
Um, it was what I expected, and it was not for me, and I doubt I'll return to it. That makes sense. I think it might be cool to experience live, but I there's so much good music out there I'd rather put on.
That's a good
Um,
point you make about live music, right? Where I do feel
yeah,
like songs like this do exist for a purpose, and it would have been
yeah,
really nice to see this. I don't know, even at KCON, right? Hyuna, no, I think they're a little bit too old for that. Well, if they did tour
probably.
on their
Yeah,
own, Hyuna and Dawn would probably do an excellent stage performance of this and just their other songs. Um,
yeah,
and I think that's what's kind of been lost throughout the pandemic is we haven't had that experience. The song itself
yeah,
is weird, man. Is weird. It's weird. Music video's
yeah.
weird, man.
It does two things I dislike in music, and that's the Latin vibes, like the dunka 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 kind of beat. Not quite that, but you know, that's the most normal one of them, I think. And then there's the synth at the chorus, the brass. It just didn't work for me. It's the same with Card. Usually likes sounds like that, and yeah, it's just not something I enjoy.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Card does have very similar sounding songs like this, less bombastic and weird, but I think in the same general vicinity, right? So the crew kind of went into a little bit more detail of how their previous songs, especially Dawn, did actually sound pretty manageable, accessible. And now Warren kind of laid into the song how this kind of just feels like leftovers of like, we have all these different sounds and things that we tried in other songs. Let's just put them all together between Dawn and Hyuna, and was not able to accentuate who they were as a couple.
Yeah.
Well, two questions. So what did you think about their take on it? And then two, what would you want to see Hyuna and Dawn perform together to show that they are a power couple?
To be honest, since we haven't had it, I'm starting with your second question. Sorry. Since they're kind of new together as artists, they haven't really done anything. I would have liked if they went way more mainstream and safe, and just did it well. Just showed off the talent without necessarily being weird. Because I don't know, this is not pulling in new fans. This is maybe tending to the old ones, hopefully, at least. Because it's sounds you've heard from the two of them, so I hope the fans would continue liking those sounds. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of familiar sounds in this song, but I think a lot of familiar sounds done to a degree that, again, like I said, if you were on drugs, I'm sure this would be great. Not condoning drug use, kids, unless you need it, like Tylenol and Advil and aspirin, those things. But if you did consume something by accident, perhaps, I can see like the visual and the kaleidoscope that they used in the music video to help you feel those things a little bit more. But some of the highlights were the visual aspects. Yes, probably over the top, but I do think personality-wise, the energy that Anita was talking about matched quite well. Was there any redeeming qualities about the song, music video, or presentation that you pulled from your experience?
Nothing really notable, no. Sorry.
No, yeah, no apologies. It is one of those just very strange Hyuna Dawn songs. So
yeah,
it exists. It makes sense, but probably doesn't work just on regular use for a lot of people, regular listen. All right, let's move on now to this very special lady. They mentioned it very nicely on the main show that we do all love LALISA Manoban from Blackpink. I just want to say at the very top, I appreciate that the crew is able to kind of make that distinction, because I think oftentimes many people and fandoms get stuck in this groupthink where it snowballs, right? Where certain language, certain ways in which we talk about things start to become normalized, and we forget to take a step back, that there are real people with real consequences to kind of the things that we put out there as far as the energy or even written typed responses on the internet. It exists somewhere. Someone sees that. And yes, to a point, it's funny. It's fun to dump on things. But at a certain point, it gets a little too much. People need to rein it in. It's like, okay, let's move on, because you probably wouldn't talk about this about any other group if they did something this bad. Or maybe it is, or maybe you have, and that doesn't make it okay either. I will just put two examples up on the board by one JYP, Alcohol Free. That was a great conversation. Mafia in the Morning, another great conversation. So just putting it out there, on the positives. So you and I are Blinks. We've listened to this song.
Yes.
many times. Watched the music video, pointing to your Blackpink album collection. I think there was a rose in there.
That's 2, I think.
Nice. Did LALISA come in yet?
No, not yet, fortunately.
Sorry.
I mean, the LP drops like December 27th or something like that. So if you look at K-Town for You, for example, it shows D-Day is in 100 days, I think. So that's nice. Throwing money after something.
Yeah. But it's nice to add to the collection, right? It's nice to kind of complete the story of like the physicals that you own. But what did you take away from the song initially prior to kind of seeing the response of everyone?
I woke up with a ping from Doug saying, Jacob, they want your opinion on it. Because people were just going ham and saying it was horrendous in the reactions channel. So I think because of that, I sort of wanted it to be bad and to fit in, I guess. So first listen, I was not impressed. But then I listened to it for 20 times or so. And I like it. I recognize that it's not for everyone and that a lot of people dislike it. But I like it. And that's just how it is. I don't know. Yeah. But I did like the B-side way more. Money. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think initially, well, so I watched the music video on a phone, laying on a couch because I was on vacation, and I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy life. I'm gonna mute all these channels and not hear anyone's conversation for 48 hours. And honestly, not that bad. I mean, I think ultimately it's painted by the expectation of the amount of resources YG has, the amount of hype leading up to it. And of course, like all those things, yeah, pre-sales and all those things lead up into like what we think a song should be, which, you know, is music or art something to be interpreted by what you expect it to be or what it actually is, right? And there's no right or wrong answer to that question, but I do think objectively, it does feel like a lot of dated, recycled techniques in YG's bank of music. And I think that for me is kind of why it sounds familiar, so it's easy for me to digest, but I think it's a little too familiar without doing anything that, like they said on the show, accentuates any one quality of Lisa amazingly.
Yeah.
But I will say on the Lisa side of things, the performance stuff that she has been able to do, especially the performance stages and just any side promotion stuff that she has done with the song, she looks great. She is a power performer. She catches your eye. Even if the material itself may not be the best quality, if you just give those stages a chance, man, she's really good. She's really good. You know, the crew kind of, honestly, the way the crew talked about it was far more tame than I expected.
Yeah, I think they're scared of Blinks, honestly. And I understand that. But that's, yeah.
Well,
that's what it is.
I'm trying to think like how bad it was for Mafia in the Morning and Twice for Alcohol Free. I mean, I didn't read any of the comments. I didn't receive any of the comments.
Then they're not quite the same either.
Yeah.
Like Blackpink and BTS or something else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
BTS, there's a whole nother commentary about that, but I will reserve my opinions for probably never speaking about it on a recorded session. But yeah, again, understandable hesitation to wanting to go too far in depth on kind of the negativity of the song, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of like how it works. But I will say I appreciate that Doug, Warren, and Anita were able to at least give us a little bit of their opinions while leaving room for people who may actually enjoy the song unironically. Not to say that I'm doing ironically, but I have all the listens on Chew Last FM right now, so take that, internet.
So
All right. Anything else you
Yeah.
want to close on with this song?
Um, I don't have anything to support this, but at some point when listening to it and watching it, I felt like it might be kind of C-poppy or C-hip-hoppy, like Chinese stuff, because it reminds me of something I've heard at some point, but I can't remember exactly what. And it would make sense if she wanna, like, yeah, stay in that market since she got quite big from mentoring that show Youth With You over there. Yeah.
That's a good point you bring up because and it's not that I noticed the C-pop references that you're alluding to, but her being Thai and then having that section in the song itself kind of sounded very YG, but the visual was brilliant.
Mm.
It kind of blew me away with like their use of gold. A lot of her heritage was on display, and I kind of wish we got a little bit more of that. I hope we get something that expands a little bit more on highlighting that aspect of her because I think she could do it. I think she's great, and like you said, like if you're hearing the C-pop like references, there is definitely a market for people exploring different sides of Asia, different Asian heritages, in their music and presentation. So yeah, shout out to you. Good callback. All right, let's move on now to the last song of the week with ATEEZ, Deja Vu. All right, Joker, let me have you start. What did you think about the song, and how did you feel about the crew's discussion this week?
Um, I enjoyed it, but I only watched it once, and only because I knew I was coming on here and had to talk about it. So yeah, like it's a good song, and I could add it to a playlist and not skip it. I don't know if I will. Let's see. Um, but yeah, um, I think I agree with Doug a lot because he said that he misses their like early stuff, the very powerful in your face stuff, like the pirate things. Um, and I'm hoping to see more of that as well. This was a step in the right direction from their fun and summery chill songs. I feel like some of their later releases have been without quite remembering too much.
Yeah, I think they made a nice point on the show that ATEEZ is very much a performance-heavy group, all on
Mm,
display on Kingdom, and with the ability to be successful in Western markets and tour, live performances.
yeah.
Sadly, COVID, the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, of everything being shut down and unable to see people live and get that live energy, has hurt the group in a lot of ways. But this does feel like a switch up. I watched the music video once and I was like, "This is this ATEEZ? Is this what? What am I watching? What am I
Yeah.
listening to?" It caught me off guard because I am used to this sound with so many other groups. It might be the trend as far as like the end of the summer winding down theme for a lot. The ones I can remember are 17 and TXT. TXT kind of being maybe the exception with just being really weird and emo
Yeah, they're
edgy.
they're out there.
Yeah, but I think ATEEZ and 17 right now have both released songs that are like end of the summer, let's wind it down, let's move into the fall. Um, and I kind
Yeah.
of like it. I didn't. It caught
I'm
me
ready
off.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. So I will explore more of this song only for the fact that it's not the typical boy group song. But thank you, crew, for articulating and analyzing those elements because I honestly
Especially Anita.
yes, 100% Nita. Because of the fact that Anita is a fan, she understands the lore, and then she really tried to go in deep with the storytelling here with this song. I didn't pick
Mm.
up on a lot of that stuff, but now I'm curious, and I 100% am sure many people are curious because of the way Anita talked about it. So, um, shout out to you, Anita. You're great. Thank you. But pirates, yes. Pirates would be back eventually.
What pirates?
But comma pirates? Comma but pirates? Is that what? How do you spell butts? Anyways, that is music for this week. A lot of interesting songs. The second week in a row of 4 songs being covered, so extended conversation this week.
Yeah, that's getting rare.
Yeah. Easily could have been 5, in my opinion. Easily could have been 6, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple quick shout outs. So I'm just gonna shout it out right here. This album has hit me in a way that I can't remember the last time music has done this to me. So Lehi's album is amazing. Shout out to the release of the song. Wow, what's the main title? Red Lipstick. On 4 only. So yes, please listen to it if you love Lehi or if you just want to check it out. Jocabb, what was the other song that you wanted to shout out this week?
Actually, Purple Kiss already mentioned it. Beep 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 beep. Sorry. Yeah, BB came back as well. Yes. That was nice. It was lovely. We like it with Pado.
Yeah, she's a mermaid, so check it out.
Yeah, I don't understand the music video. I don't think you're supposed to, but it was nice.
BB is not a person to be understood. Let's be real.
True.
All right, let's move on now to the Soju chart this week. Spice King. All right, I'm gonna run through it real quick, and then we'll talk about it. So at number 3 we have Purple Kiss with Zombie. At number 2 we have Promise 9 with Talk and Talk, and at number 1, Stacy with Stereotype. Okay, I need like 30 seconds. Check the receipts. Last week, I manifested this. I said Stacy could possibly have 2 songs retired on the Spice chart. And what happened? We are here. We have arrived, everyone. Stacy, Rookie Girl Group of the Year. I'm sorry, aespa. You spent way too much money on your virtual world. Just stay there, and maybe you can get Rookie Girl Group of the Year with your avatars. Anyways, just kidding. I like aespa. Jocabb, what did you think about the order this week? What did you think about how it all came together? What did you think about the crew? Pretty. Everyone was pretty on the same wavelength this week.
Yeah. I have yet to join the Stacy hype, so yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So yeah, it's of course difficult for me to agree too much or be too happy, but at the same time, I'm not sad either or mad or anything. So yeah. It's deserved, to be honest, but just not for me.
For sure. I think it's kind of funny how there were battle lines drawn, because was it Doug or Warren, Stacy or Weekly? I think ever since that conversation, everyone has decided that there's a strict dichotomy. You can only like one. It's like, well, you can actually like both.
Yeah.
But understandable. I mean, again, like you said, not for everyone. Perhaps a song will eventually come around that you will enjoy, but I do think the bit of recognition that they gave Stacy in the fact that they are not coming from a larger company similar to Weekly. They're both coming from smaller agencies, but they both are popping off in a lot of ways, very successful in the things that they both do. And I do think it's more of a sign of popularity in the time, right? Because I think this time last year, Weekly was like, everyone was talking about Weekly because they were the only game in town as far as new and constant content. And now Stacy's popping off, very similar to Weekly. So I think once things settle down and we're able to kind of see both in the same light, we will have just a lot of good music to go around for whatever taste you have. All right. But yes, very interesting chart this week. I'm really happy that the song is getting there. It's getting their retirement. But I have no idea what it's gonna look like next week. I might just vote for Red Velvet again. Who knows?
How many days ago?
It's been over a month. I think 5 weeks now. We're on 5 weeks, perhaps. Yeah, but
Yeah, good luck.
yeah. Hey, if Dreamcatcher can still get votes, I think I can vote for Red Velvet.
Sure, but
yeah, shout out.
just don't expect anything to happen from it. But sure.
All right, fair enough. Shout out to Koro again, Koro Sensei, cool guy,
Indeed.
carrying Dreamcatcher. I feel it 100%. All right, well, that does it for this week in Soju Talk Music. If you have any thoughts, feelings, opinions, or just want to meet friends and talk to people, come join us on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord in the SojuTalk Talk channel. That is where we talk about the weekly shows and all the content that happens here on SojuTalk. All right, one quick piece of news, probably the only piece of news that I cared about this week. Again, I appreciate Doug, Warren, and Nita for picking their favorites. I'm going to pick my favorite from your favorites. aespa, album, Savage, Physicals, Kwangya, Let's Go, Jocabb. What do you think?
I am looking forward to it. I hope we get a lot of songs and that they're good, because I've liked aespa so far.
Yeah, I think the music, it grows on you, but their characterizations and the things they do on TikTok, on just all their social medias and their YouTube content has helped me really enjoy their music. So I will say they are doing a nice job giving us the full concept experience in that sense.
For sure.
So yeah, shout out to aespa. Likely to be Girl Group of the Year, because that's how things work on award shows. But Stacey is there, and that is the last time I'll bring them up for the show. Okay, all right. Let's move on now to State of the Nation. Girls Planet 999. Oh man. All right. So, like Doug said, he kind of set this off in my brain last week that this was probably gonna be a filler episode. So I wasn't expecting much. Turns out we got 2 hours. We got the challenge. We got cells disbanded, new groups forming. We got all the songs. Then we got some performances. My big question for you, Jocabb. This episode was 2 hours. Would you have watched a 4-hour episode if you could just get all of the damn performances together?
Not in one go. I'm bad at shows like this with the drama and the cringe and stuff like that. But yes, I'm looking forward to more performances next week for sure.
Yeah, they've mentioned this in the past, but splitting up the performances within 2 weeks of each other makes it the voting situation makes it interesting, to say the least, because now all the momentum is on these groups. Next week will be on the groups that performed then, and then how do you reconcile that between the 2-3 week period of voting? Unfortunately, there's going to be voting behaviors and changes. So, but yeah, that's just how it works. It's a popularity contest.
But at the same time, it gives the girls 2 weeks of preparations between stages instead of just the one.
True, that is correct.
So,
okay,
I think the show is just higher quality because of it.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's something I didn't think about prior to you bringing that up. All right, so some of the details on the next elimination challenge. So we are going to have 30 girls, 30 contestants, competitors. Goodbye. Of the 54, 3 saved from Planet Pass. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Now we're getting to really know the girls, so now we'll feel it.
Yeah.
The last elimination, it was doable in a way, because there was a lot of girls that didn't get too much screen time anyway.
Yeah.
Some of them, of course, hurt. Yeah. It's hard to avoid, but
yeah. And what did you think about the song selection? So, instead of going through every single one of the songs, the main show did it quite nicely this week. What did you think about? Were there any songs that stood out to you? And then, as they got into their practice sessions, was there any interesting edits that really kept you entertained or cringed to the point where you had to pause the episode?
All of it, all the time. I don't think there was 5 minutes I didn't pause. Maybe in the performances, I guess. But yeah. I feel like there's a lot of rapping coming up all of a sudden that we haven't seen previously on the show. And from the 4 stages we've seen so far, they've done it quite well, actually. I've been pleasantly surprised, even though many of them have never tried it. So that's interesting. I hope that trend can maybe shape the final group. I wouldn't mind a little bit of rap and hip hop and stuff like that. Yeah. So, since I mentioned rap, of course, Wu and Jace, stood out a lot. And I'm also looking forward to VVS next week. And I don't know what I feel about the 2 Western songs, Megan Trainor, and what was the other song? I forget.
Salute?
Yes. It's kind of weird in a way, but at the same time it makes sense because K-pop wants to have Western fans as well. So, and a lot of the Chinese and Japanese girls seem to like and know those songs as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Global appeal definitely is kind of the direction for those 2 songs. Personally, I am a senior citizen. I am 50 years old, so I did not actually know the songs.
No.
But hearing it, that's like, oh yes, I've heard those songs exist somewhere. I just didn't know that it was Megan Trainor or the little something,
little mix.
Yes, them.
Yes. Similarly, I knew of the artists but couldn't pinpoint the song until I heard them. So yeah.
Yeah. And from what I gather, you are saying that you want Liang Zhao to be the rapper for the group at the end. Got it. Okay. VVS, one more time, please. One more time, please. That edit was very intentionally done. Just put it that way. I'm sure it wasn't that bad, but my God, did they zoom in several times on her other partners and add sound effects to make things just the worst. So
yeah, that's a twin, right?
Yep, that is our favorite redheaded twin. Some other notables, so like you said, We Are turned out really well. I think Wenzhou,
I really like the edit as well.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the past, but I do think Bora is the best leader of the entire show. I mean, well, prior to okay, yes, you're right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I should walk that back a little bit. Prior to this week,
right?
Because she got so much out of her teammates. I think Wenzhou was up for the challenge, but Manani, my God, that girl was about to collapse in just like anxiety and just like so much stress. I felt for her, but then they cut to Bora like coaching her up and pumping her up, saying, "You got this, girl. Let me walk you through every single line." It's like, man, I feel good. I'll vote for you guys now. Yeah, I think that was a really nice moment. Thank you for giving us that, because sometimes these freaking cringe moments are a little bit too much, and yeah, we gotta lighten things up. Speaking of Diane and ice cream, the crew went into it a bit. What was your opinion on how it all played out?
First of all, it was a nice stage. I really liked the end result. And it was great to see how they got to it as well. Because as I just mentioned, Diane is a great leader. And she really pulled out the best in all of the girls, especially the Planet Pass girl, Ruan, who was in a lot of trouble at the mid-check evaluation. but she did well. That's nice.
I think that's the side of Diane that we did not get for over a month, which is kind of ridiculous because like, oh, she's K1, she's the K1 that's not as great as J1 or C1, and we're all supposed to kind of like accept the fact that, oh, but she really is good. And then we finally got it. Like, this is the reason why. She's experienced, she knows how to coordinate and organize people, she knows how to dance, and she knows how to highlight other people in ways that a leader should, right? Elevates them, raises the floor. These are all things I would have said about Bora 2 weeks ago. Now I can say it about Diane because I can see it. Thank you, Mnet. Yeah. Finally. Shout out to Doug for telling Tiffany to calm down. Yes, Tiffany was feeling herself a lot this episode between Diane, between Suyeon, saying, I need to stand up. I'm going to stand up for this. Let's go. Yes, girls. I apologize if my vocal fry offended anyone. I'm just doing a Tiffany impression. But, she was very animated this episode.
She's not hiding that she has favorites.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. So there were a couple of other performances. There was No Excuses. There was the trio. That was... Yeah. It started off promising, and then they added the Chinese member. Very interesting and confusing.
Yeah.
But, what did you think about how it played out? Because the crew definitely mentioned that they were on the Hikaru hype train. I'm still on it. I'm not going to be convinced otherwise. Yeah. But they Doug seemed to have got off the stop and went to the next station now. But what about you? Do you feel the same way?
I am still voting for Hikaru and Suyeon. I like them as a lot. But yeah, Sige, or what do you call her, the Chinese girl, she's a mouthful for sure. I don't know how to feel about her. She feels very odd in an aggressive way, sort of. I don't know. She might be nice. I don't know. It could be editing, of course. It's seen before. But yeah, I'm not getting the best vibes from her for sure. And on the stage, she was sort of just there. Like, there are two spotlights. They are not on her.
It was a really odd choice that she chose that group.
Yeah.
Because I think she was able to select fairly early on in the process.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I really don't. So, not to say that she completely brought down the ceiling of the group, but if there was a dancer included in that group, just imagine how much more that team would have been elevated and how differently the conversation would have been. I know Hikaru is the one that like organized the team and tried to choreograph everything, but again, we have to remember she's 17. She's a young person. I don't know to what extent she has had with that type of experience being a leader, but I give her the benefit of the doubt in that sense, where perhaps she might just need a leader who has their stuff together to really get the most out of her.
Right.
Yeah. Last performance they talked about on the show. So is the Missing You performance by B2B. We have the Urena stuff, the Reina stuff.
That was an edit for sure.
Oh man! All right, what are your thoughts and feelings about how they just went into that girl?
I mean, from the second they started, I could just tell that this was just a setup. Like it would turn out nicely, and it did. It was a great stage, but yeah, I think it's hard to avoid those kind of edits. Like she just became the number one girl. Of course, they're gonna try and bring her down. That's just how the world is.
Yeah, I will say on the shows, to give a little bit of credit to the show, they did include the master going up to the group afterwards, the evaluation.
Yeah, and that was nice.
Yeah, because I do feel like that happens far more frequently than they show, but we just never see it because it doesn't add drama to it, right? But it does give a sense of realism. It's like, yes, there's the stage side of things where they have to like put on a little bit of a show, and then there's but I have to actually train you and coach you up because I don't want you to fail.
Yeah.
Which
I find it hard to believe that the masters only see them that one time. I don't know. It feels off, but it could be true.
Yeah. No, I'm inclined to believe that as well, that the masters are probably far more involved than we realize. And have a bit more of a relationship than just evaluating them and judging them on stage. But yeah, a lot of great drama. Good job, Mnet, making us feel things for Yurina. She's going to get the sympathy feel regardless. So they really want that girl probably on the group. Anyways, that's cool. One notable bit of drama was the Kai Bin group. My girl, Kim Haerim. I'm the only one. I get it. She's probably going to get eliminated. But a little bit of drama there. And then the Gia center battle situation between sexy and powerful. Kai Bing also being the leader and all that stuff. Borderline evil editing. Borderline. Not there yet. But we'll see how it turns out. All right. So one final thing I have for you for Girls Planet 999. Doug gave his top 9. What is your voting top 9?
In no specific order. I can say, names. I'm gonna butcher every single one of them. Prepare your butts. Gwyn Maya, Kim Soyeon, Kim Daeun, Chai Bing, Wenxi, Shen Xiaoting, Esaki Hikaru, Nagai Minami, and Ikema Ruan.
That was really good. I don't know what you're talking about. You're a natural Chinese, Japanese, and Korean language speaker.
I'm level 5 and 8 on Duolingo in Japanese and Korean. Thank you.
Well, it shows. All right, my top 9 real quick. K-Line, Kim Haerim, nice. Kim Chae-hyun, Kim Daeun. So that one switched for me. I'm voting for Daeun now. I'm stubborn with my China line. It's just gonna be this unless someone like really pops off. Kai Bing, Surichi, and Wenja. J-Line, Izaki Hikaru, Nanoka Shana, and Sakamoto Mashiro. So those are my votes. I think we're gonna get some interesting stuff with Mashiro, and people are already hinting and alluding to it because of these solo cams that are out. Yeah, I think I don't really have much to say. I think it's turning out the same way that it's been in the past with Produce. I think the elimination is probably the most surprising thing, that it's so many girls. But to me personally, I'm good with speeding up the process because if it's just more performances, I'm happy with that. Final thing. So they did preview the songs that for the next challenge, as far as what it's going to sound like, what it's going to kind of look like, but then also letting it be known that the competitors will be composing, writing, and perhaps like doing choreography that's different from what we've already seen. What did you think? Is there any song that kind of stood out to you that you want to see?
I didn't watch any spoilers.
Oh, okay. You didn't make it to the end preview.
No.
Okay. They did give the genres of each song. I don't remember them off the top of my head, and I didn't write them down. Good job, me. But I also they are all stage friendly. There is no ballad from what I can remember, and there aren't too many like super outdated sounds. Although I do think the Tropical House Moombahton is just it's just always going to be outdated, right? So before we close things out on Girls Planet 999, Jocabb, there is a Chinese member that I think you have coined the official nickname for.
Right.
Who's
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
So we have...
It's a stupid bit.
We have a very special fan club on the server. I'm keeping it alive. We have the Surichi fan club. Or it could be renamed Sriracha. As for our guest host this week,
it's just awkward to have two things called Sriracha because I'm also thinking of the Stray Kids rival line when I hear that.
I don't want to take it too much away from them because I do appreciate their talent, skills, and abilities. But Surichi, man, that girl for some reason just has my soul. I don't know what to do. But yeah, I hope she makes it. I saw somewhere on the Surichi channel in the Girls Planet 999 Discord that they were talking about how Shin Xiaoteng and her go way back from the other competition show they did. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. And how they both didn't make it because they're destined to be on this show and make it together, stuff like that, which is kind of fun and interesting. But I think it'd be cool if both of them made it, considering they've known each other for a long time. So yeah. All right, let's move on now to our weekly check-in, our closing thoughts. Jocabb, how are you? How's life? Welcome to the show for the first time.
Thank you. Life is good. My knee hurts, but other than that, life is good. I don't know.
Are you still working at the construction site?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I moved since we last talked about it to another site. So now I'm in the middle of the Danish capital, Copenhagen. Ooh.
Wow, fancy.
And it's something. Like there's a lot of power lines, water lines, district heating lines, all sorts of stuff in the ground. And we want to put stuff in the ground and there's no room for it. And yeah, I'm glad I'm not the boss. That's for sure.
Did they have
his work cut out?
Did they have you sitting in on those meetings to kind of hear how the process is of like?
No, I just hear what they have to say about it afterwards, and that's enough to paint a grim image.
Yeah, just a lot of policy things, a lot of red tape, yellow tape, all the different tapes. It's an American colloquialism. I don't even know if it works globally, but well, that's cool that you're getting experience. That's cool that you're in the a bigger city.
Yeah.
As far as COVID, have things opened up pretty okay for you?
I'm pretty sure we don't have any restrictions in Denmark right now.
Nice.
It doesn't mean we don't have any people falling ill and you dying every now and then, but like it's basically okay.
Yeah,
I feel like.
well, that's good. I'm glad you are getting that semblance of normalcy from prior years, even if your internet friends in the United States, who are typically responsible, are surrounded by irresponsible people. So, yes, that is my commentary for the week. For me, I came back from nature on Sunday. I was in Yosemite.
Yeah, you've been MIA on the server.
It's kind of nice, not gonna lie. So the first night we were there, we were in Yosemite area, about 45 minutes away from Yosemite proper, and we rented a house. We had all our amenities. We had internet. I was trying to stay off of like chat things unless I was pinged in it, which is all right. But then we lost power from 9 p.m. to about 1 p.m. the next day. We were basically in the desert. So the house in the middle of the night was 85 degrees. Sleep was great that night. I did not.
I don't know what that exactly is in Celsius, but it's too much. I know that for sure.
What is that? I'm doing a quick calculation. It's like 40 degrees.
No, 40 is 100.
So 35.
Yeah.
About 35. Somewhere between 35 and 40 degrees. But it was 40 degrees outside. So it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Americans. About 40 degrees Celsius for everyone else. Yeah, it was incredibly, incredibly hot. Our food thawed from the fridge. And on top of that, the fridge was also kind of broken. So even when the power did come back on, it didn't actually get cold. It was just like hovering. The The freezer wasn't working,
Nice.
so we put ice in the freezer to try to get everything cold. It melted out. Yeah, we the fridge itself wasn't that great. However, the rest of the trip was pretty chill. So we had a pool,
Nice.
we had a hot tub, we had a barbecue, we had nature. So all of that stuff was great. And then once the AC was back on, that was cool. I hung out with my cousins. I'm trying to think, there was four of us, four or five cousins. I think four, all about my
Nice.
age. The youngest is in college right now, and the oldest is like 2 years younger than me. Yeah, so all within the same age range ish. Yeah,
Nice. That's good.
family time. But yeah, definitely recommend it if you can get out in nature and just like touch grass, like literally. It's kind of nice. I I can confirm touching literal grass is kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Jokabb, because you're here, if you'd like to kind of give a little bit of a 2 minute thing of like how you feel about Soju Talk, how you feel about your mod duties, and just like being connected to people, you know, now's your time to shine. Now's your time to like give us a little bit of a sad
Right.
story. How are you feeling just in general about being more connected to people on the internet now than you've ever been in your entire life?
It's weird. First of all, my mod duties, next to none. People are too boring on the server. Uh, no, it's fine. Don't do all sorts of
Please be
stupid stuff.
boring. Be
Please.
boring. Be
No,
boring is good.
it's nice. And yeah, people around me in real life are confused when I say, "Oh, I stayed up to 5 a.m. playing games with my American friends." Like, yeah, but it's nice. I like it. Um, it's tough with time zones for sure, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, it's been an adjustment. I think even when I was growing up with the internet, I didn't have as many international friends as I do today, right? Or at least people
Yeah,
that I keep in contact with, which I think is kind of nice. It's something unique that I appreciate, even with the varying degrees of opinions and ways in which we talk about things. But I do think it helps
yeah,
color like your experience, and it's up to me personally to decide how I want to internalize it. And honestly,
yeah,
not as bad as it could have been. I think there are other places where the world is far scarier. Let's just put it that way. As far as the internet, Reddit would be a really good example of that, right?
yeah,
YouTube comments, Stan Twitter, all those places. That is not here at Soju Talk. I think we do a nice job of keeping everyone welcomed for the
yeah.
most part. And I would have to thank and appreciate you for being part of that team of moderators and people that people go to, people that people recognize
Mm,
for that. So thanks for all that you do for us.
no worries.
Yeah, man.
I enjoy it.
Closing thoughts. Anything you want to leave the nation with? Anything you want to plug if you have anything to plug?
I mean, you scratched it out of the script.
Well, I'm sure
Uh,
you could pull it up from your memory.
that Hunter Italy. Hey.
Uh, so a quick thing because I honestly have forgotten. Sorry, I do apologize for forgetting.
Right.
Where is she now and what is she doing? She's gonna be in Korea, right?
Nothing specific has been said about that. She's still in her old group, subgroup of the AKB48. Yeah. Um, she's doing stuff like they're performing live shows every now and then, and they had a meet and greet yesterday, I believe, where she was talking with people for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Um, yeah, she's honestly more active than ever, I want to say. Um, Came out with a song maybe a month ago. is all right for J-pop. Yeah, it's fun to see how she's become the center of the group, where she left as like backup dancer on the second row, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, well, shout out to Hitomi. We wish her all the success, and that one day when we all meet in real life, because that's what we uh, aspire for. That's what we do this for, to be influencers, to get that influencer access. That you remember us, Hitomi, that we were there for you. Jocabb specifically was there for you well before your solo success. Yes. We'll leave it on that.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the SojuTalk Nation podcast, episode 36. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or your preferred podcast platform, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord. This has been the SojuTalk Nation for Jocabb. This is Crispy. Bye.
Bye.